Hey, how's it going, everybody? Moses here with a new follow-up video on this Torchlight Frontier Alpha's Railmaster class over here, and I'm just going to show you how I built this character, and we're going to go through that and show you a little bit of gameplay. So, a couple of main skill trees. The focus is, of course, on the train and on conductor. Not so much on lineage or lineage. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I think lineage. But yeah, either way, conductor. What it does is basically focuses on the main car, which is right here. The main car right here, this turret gun, and this guy will consistently fire at enemies a shot that is not piercing, but is very consistent, deals a big amount of damage, and just sustainable auto attacks. Doesn't cost you any resource, and just makes for a good source of damage. So we max this one out, and also because it gives a passive global 20.16% increased damage to all damage from all train cars. So of course for the the build train, the main turret, and for any other damage source that we have on our train. Um, Secondly, I used that a little bit, but then we moved on to a flamethrower car when I reached the appropriate level. A flamethrower car is simply a flamethrower, and it has an active that will deal 3 seconds of damage over time over here. It won't auto target, but so you have to activate it yourself and make sure that if there's an elite pack or a boss or something, you want to make sure to click on that boss and then aim it, because the car may go, but like it will still keep targeting whatever you initially target in the same angle. So you got to make sure that position happens. Outside of that, it will continuously shoot flamethrowers for burning damage over time, and then every once in a few seconds, I think it's 9.7 seconds currently, it will allow you to give you this active. I've been mostly relying on, of course, the train, but Bane, a Venomous Maw skill right here is in fact pretty incredible. I've maxed out the damage. My current relic weapon is 31 out of 40, so I went into Deadly Maw um, to increase the damage by 50%, and then Endless Maw to reduce the cooldown by 50%, which means instead of 8 seconds, it's every 4 seconds. We have this huge spider that deals, pretty massive damage over time. It's 150% weapon damage per second for 4 seconds, so it's a global 600% weapon damage, and it's very very consistent. Every 4 seconds clears very well, and makes for pretty large portion of our global uh, damage. Outside of that, this guy does have a focus, so I opt to not use a shield, but you still need, for example, the forged. Let's go even further back. With the Dusk Mage, I noticed I get wrecked like um, pretty continuously, pretty, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Regularly, I guess. Whenever there's kind of a tough situation, the Dusk Mage is super glass cannon, um, and so you don't really have too many sources of damage reduction on the Dusk Mage tree, so you kind of have to go with a shield, which I don't know. I kind of quit the Dusk Mage pretty early, so I didn't really get the chance to level it up too much, but I did notice that I kind of get wrecked and get one-shotted a lot, and maybe it was just gear. Um, but anyways, that was my experience from the very few levels. I believe it was like level 15 or something like that, so not very further into the game, but that was my experience. But then I went into the Forged, and then Forged I pretty much immediately used the one-hander and a shield. um, and the shield allowed me to max out my block chance with other gear parts to 40%, which is the maximum block chance, which essentially means that 40% of incoming attacks are not going to hit you, which is a very good source of damage reduction mitigation, right? So with this, I opt to go with an offhand, so I didn't have this source of block, because it simply does not exist on my gear. So there is the shield car right here. So shield car gives us, when we activate it, it makes this bubble right here, and then that bubble gives us a big damage reduction, and then we even have a long duration. I believe it's 8 seconds of a bubble surrounding us whenever whenever we're outside of the car or outside of the train radius, right? So yeah, that makes for a very good source of damage reduction that you kind of need in this game. But also, when you max it out, it gives you a passive damage reduction that goes up to 30.3%, right? So it's almost as good as having your block chance maxed. It's pretty much the equivalent of having that on the forged. So that was what I opted to do with this guy over here. And yeah, flamethrower. I'm not using the shotgun car. You cannot really add more and more and more cars for the train. There's, from what I see, only 3 maximum cars, so we're using the shield one, flamethrower, and the build train, the turret, which makes for a very good source of damage. I can show you. We can hop in. Actually, let's do a little map. So yeah, this is a map. I believe it will open a portal. It's called Supply Run, right? And it's a magic item. 20% increased chance to drop gear. So we're gonna go there, and I believe this zone is based on my on my character level. So I'm pretty sure it's going to open up a 28 area level zone, which, if you remember, we talked about. Yeah, so this area is level 28. So if you remember, last time I shown you we talked about these spectral beasts. So you see, I'm not doing anything right now, and basically my my train is clearing, just doing work, right? So I mean, I'm not even doing anything, right? So definitely the train can take care of you. You can pop your shield, and you have the damage reduction buff happening, and you also have a passive damage bonus whenever the train is near you. Now, early on I did not know, but there is in fact a resource. I just needed to level up a little bit. So the resource is called Endurance, and this is the resource. You have 5 units of it, and basically you have your... Oops, I misclicked my relic weapon, it doesn't matter. Basically you have your lineage skills, and these are ones that, see, it says in blue 1 endurance, this one has 1 charge, this one costs 2 endurance, 2 endurance, and 4 endurance for Ghost Train. I still haven't spec'd into these, of course, but I am using Pound. I put only 1 point over here in Pound. Basically what it does is it makes an AoE attack that has a chance to stun, and based on your weapon damage it will also deal double damage if the enemy is already stunned. So it's actually quite impactful, and it's a big AoE, and as you see, it costs you these endurance, but endurance replenishes quite quickly, right? So the way I go with the gameplay is basically Venomous Maw is active pretty much every 4 seconds, and then I make sure that I have all my cooldowns up. So if my flamethrower is off cooldown, I'm going to use it. If my Venomous Maw, as you can see, and when everything is like already activated and I can't press anything, only then I'll use my Pound, right? So normally I wouldn't be using Pound, but see, they are stunned. You can see little stars over their heads, which is pretty cool. So they're stunned, and you can keep slamming them, and it will deal double damage. It's actually quite massive, and yeah, damage is going to increase when you put even more points into it. And I'm sure there's, there are ways to spec into melee with this guy. It's just that I currently haven't really saw the point. I wanted to kind of like focus on the, on the rails, or on the train. Sorry. So yeah, it splits into two. This is kind of weird. Sometimes in these dungeons, they split into two, but you don't really know where to go, and then you kind of have to backtrack. There's an elite. So yeah, every 4 seconds, having the as you can see, like the car itself is like doing really good work. I haven't really seen too many situation where there's like there was only one elite pack, like just this one guy, but when they're all packed up, these flamethrower is doing great work with massive AoE, just kind of like spread damage into targets that are like clumped up. And so does the venomous maw, which is my relic weapon. Oh, there's a whole bunch of enemies behind me, but you see the venomous maw is pretty much one-shotting. This is fun. There's a skill shrine here, and when we pick it up, I can just basically spew venomous maws like all over the place, because it makes my skills kind of like have very little cooldown. Like, I think it halves the cooldown or something very close to that, so that's kind of cool. Not too many monsters, but still. So yeah, this is a map. It says Emulator. I don't think that that's really the case. Emulator, from what I... Wait, maybe this level is Emulator and the previous level was not. Maybe the previous level... Okay, so Emulator, you see, you have these... when an enemy dies, you have these bombs falling from the sky. So yeah, that's Emulator. So you kind of have to pay attention. You really don't want to be underneath these bombs when they drop, because you die. And the thing about maps is that if you die inside a map, you cannot go back. The map is lost. So the map is a finite zone with only one entrance. So you cannot go back. Gotta make sure. And yeah, so you cannot teleport out also, by the way. So if your inventory is full, you gotta make sure that you get in there with an empty inventory, that you sold everything and you got enough room to carry. But of course you can always send your pet and then wait 2 minutes for the pet to come back. That's kind of cool. One explosion or two, or even three, I think my characters can take, but once it starts piling up, this kind of hurts. Yeah, we have a cooldown shrine. I'm actually gonna go back because, yeah, the exit for the next level is here, and we missed a big zone over here. Sometimes the car is kind of like lagging behind you, but as long as there's rails, the car will come. But sometimes, the rails are gone somehow. I don't know, maybe it's bugged or something. And also the flamethrower car has to be near you for you to be able to activate the cooldown. You gotta be able to target something, otherwise it just does not work. Unfortunately, there are no elites here. Oh. There's my shrine. Gotta stay away, there's a whole bunch of enemies died all at once. It's not fun to die to these bombs. You can see the AoE underneath them, it's kind of confusing. They don't explode where they stand, they drop down, so it's kind of like, just gotta pay attention and stay away from the red stuff on the ground. By the way, don't be mistaken, this is these are spiders that I summoned actually from the relic weapon. It just unlocks passively 8-legged allies. I don't have any points over here, but you start with 2 base, spiders that last for 10 seconds whenever a poisoned enemy dies. The relic weapon does not even have to be activated. And it has a 2-minute cooldown, but really the strength of this relic weapon is the big spider, with a 4-second cooldown that just deals a massive amount of dot damage. Or just dot. Just was like one spider, and they all kind of like they all kind of like exploded, and yeah, that mimic chest got really burned quickly. Okay, so down there. And yeah, this zone is like very good XP, so that's why I'd rather not. I think I entered with like half a level. And you can really just do maps that are really cheap. You can grind them forever. I don't know if you remember or if you watched the previous video, I was talking about these spectral beasts, and I thought that's the only way that you can, level up. But apparently, you can simply buy maps from the vendor, and each map is based on your own level. And it's not even that hard. Like, the maps can be hard. I don't know if I've seen maps that have 2 mods. I haven't been mapping too much, but yeah, they're cheap is what I meant. Like, it's easy to buy them. They're definitely affordable. I think it's like 500 gold. And yeah, you can only have, excuse me, up to 500 gold. Excuse me, up to 20,000 gold. You cannot have more than 20,000. So whenever you're full on gold, you can just buy maps for 500 gold and then run them. But yeah, sometimes there's just like not too many elites, so it's a little bit disappointing. Because of course elites are good for gear, for upgrades and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is just an example of kind of like the current endgame map, which is like level 29 on this character that finished the Goblin Frontier. And remember, there's going to be like about pretty easy, 20 next levels in Hivid Frontier. They're going to come in pretty quickly, so we're going to have like 20 more points to spec in just, maybe 3 or 4 hours of playtime. I wish I had the /blade command over here to be able to tell how many hours I played. I gotta run away. Okay, see, there's a lot of them. And yeah, when all of these drop on your face, it's not very good. Not very good. Weird. Like, literally one elite guy. But yeah, then you enter sometimes zones and they have a whole bunch of elites. Okay, this is like the Earth Elemental guy. The thing about the car, the train, build train skill is that you only need to activate it once, and then it just, just kind of like follows you. You don't have to be melee with this guy, by the way. You can just let it do its thing, and it's just like, oh my god. I did not even pick up the loot. Oh no, there was a boss chest. RIP. Sometimes the portal opens like right where you are and you just click it. I didn't even realize I clicked the portal there. It sometimes happens, guys. But yeah, this was a little bit of a display. We made it a pretty short video. This was a map. I got a whole bunch of them. And yeah, you can simply buy them from the vendor. I don't know if they're going to be droppable items. See, there's like normal goblin supply run. This one's like normal for 250 gold, 10% chance to drop gear. And these ones are magic. And I had like, 20k gold, so I basically just bought these because you can only have up to 20k. And I thought, hey, let's just run these, right? But yeah, rip the loot. Good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is a pretty fun game, and you guys are welcome to check out the stream. We're going to upload this video and stream for the rest of today, so you guys are welcome to join. Take care, and I'll see you guys hopefully on stream. Bye bye.